In the scorching heart of the Syrian desert, amidst the swirling winds and shifting sands, there lived a devout dervish named Dast. He was a man of deep piety, withdrawn from the luxuries and noise of the world. He lived under a small canopy of shade, made from palm branches, drinking only water from a nearby spring and eating from what little nature provided. His entire life revolved around one thing, the remembrance of Allah. He had no desires for the material world. Gold and silver meant nothing to him. Crowns, palaces, and kingdoms were no more than dust to his eyes. He would spend hours in prostration, his eyes filled with tears, his lips constantly moving with the remembrance of his Lord. His nights were lit with prayer, and his days soaked in devotion. People from distant lands came to see this remarkable man. They came not for miracles, nor for blessings of wealth, but for peace, the kind of peace that radiated from his very presence. They would sit at his feet and feel a strange calmness enter their hearts. They saw a man who truly had no fear of kings and no attachment to the world. And in this simplicity, they found spiritual wealth. But the land in which this holy man lived was ruled by a tyrant, a powerful, proud, and merciless ruler whose heart was filled with pride and his hands stained with injustice. The people feared him, for he imposed heavy taxes, crushed those who questioned his authority, and built his throne on the broken backs of the poor. Even though he ruled with fear, he was oddly drawn to the dervish. Something in him longed for the peace that this man of God had. The ruler had heard how people traveled miles to sit with Dast. Perhaps he thought that by visiting this dervish, he could gain respect in the eyes of the people. Or maybe he hoped that the holy man would say a good word for him in front of God. And so from time to time, the ruler would ride into the desert with his guards and jewels, stopping in front of the simple hut of the dervish. But Dast never even lifted his eyes to acknowledge the king. He neither bowed, nor greeted him, nor welcomed him. He continued his prayers as if no one had arrived. This deeply offended the ruler. One day, unable to bear the insult any longer, the ruler dismounted his horse, came forward, and stood in front of the dervish. He said sternly, "O dervish, you are known as a beloved servant of God. I come to visit you with respect, yet you turn away from me. Do you hate me? Granted, I am not a spiritual man like you, but I am still a leader of the people. I expect to be treated at least like an ordinary person. Why do you humiliate me like this?" The dervish slowly opened his eyes, his gaze calm yet sharp like a sword. His voice, though gentle, carried the weight of truth and divine wisdom. "O ruler," said the dervish, "listen carefully and let these words strike your heart. God's creation weeps under your rule. The earth complains of your oppression, and the skies shake with the cries of the poor. How can I, a humble servant of God, make friends with someone who is an enemy to God's creation?" The dervish continued, his voice unwavering and his heart full of sorrow for the people. "You say you deserve respect like any ordinary man, but ordinary men don't crush the weak. Ordinary men don't steal the peace of innocent lives. Your hands are dipped in the tears of widows, the blood of innocents, and the cries of orphans. You seek blessings while ignoring curses you've gathered on your path." The ruler was stunned. No one had ever dared to speak to him this way. His face grew red with anger, but he remained silent, listening as if some hidden truth within him had been awakened. The dervish, now with fire in his voice, declared, "Even if the skin of a friend of God is torn apart, he cannot befriend thee. Enemy of Allah, I will not bow to a man who tramples the rights of others. You come to me expecting honor, but do you give honor to the people under your rule?" He pointed toward the horizon, where the sun began to set over the dunes. "Look at the sun, O ruler. Even it bows down every day to its Lord. It rises and sets without pride, without arrogance. But you believe time will always favor you. You believe power is eternal. But no, this no king remains forever. No tyrant escapes justice. Time, like a turning wheel, will one day crush your pride beneath it." The ruler's lips trembled. "Then what should I do, O dervish? Tell me. How can I escape the wrath of God The dervish softened. His heart, though firm, was not without mercy. "Go," he said, "return to your palace, but not as a king return, as a servant of your people. Gird yourself with mercy. Replace your swords with justice. Ease the burdens of the poor. Break your pride before God breaks it for you. Let the prayers of the oppressed rise for you, not against you. And remember," the dervish whispered, "even the mightiest tree falls when its roots rot. Oppression is the axe at your roots. Stop before it is too late." Tears welled up in the ruler's eyes. For the first time in years, his heart trembled not from fear of men, but from the realization that he had become an enemy of the one who gives kings their crowns. He bowed his head not to the dervish, to the truth that had pierced his soul. From that day forward, the people noticed a change. The ruler began freeing prisoners, feeding the hungry, and lifting the burdens from the shoulders of his people. No one knew what had happened in the desert that day, but they knew the words of a true friend of Allah had changed the heart of a tyrant. And as for Quddad Dost, he returned to his prayers, untouched by fame, undisturbed by the affairs of kings, content in his hut in the desert, whispering the name of his Lord as the wind carried the scent of redemption through the sands.